Okay, I'm gonna count you down. 3, 2.
So fellas, ladies, my escapees, allow me to present you with a choice. On the left side, we have this woman right here who looks like someone I don't want to spend my time describing. And then on the right side, we have this woman who looks like someone you should take home with you for the evening. Now, here's the choice. If you had just spent the night out with the boys, you've got a few drinks flowing in your system, and you had to choose between these two women right here, who were you taking home with you? And I think that the answer for anyone with eyes to see is obvious. It would be the woman on the right. It's not even something I have to say. It's not even something I have to explain. The woman on the right has the face, and she also has the chest for the occasion. Now, here's the thing. What you will find is that in the gaming industry, you have a company that spent the last few years, 4, 5 years, 6 years, whatever, convincing game development companies, game publishers, and the entire higher top echelon of the gaming industry that men who are the predominant players and market for AAA, AA video games that are action, high fantasy, action, adventure, blah, 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 they convinced them that it would be in their best interest to sell the woman who looks like the woman on the left, this one, to that player base of men, instead of selling them the woman who looks like the woman on the right. And that company is Sweet Baby Inc. I mean, come on. Everyone already knows what that company is. Everyone already knows who the man, the myth, the legend, the woman, my apologies, the woman, the myth, the legend who is behind that company, Kimberly. Now listen, if you haven't figured it out by now, I am not making this video as a review of South of Midnight. Let me show you. South of Midnight, right? This is not going to be a review of this game, right? We already know what happened with this game. This game came out. This game tanked. This game got a player count on Steam of, let's go down. There we go. All-time peak player count 2 days ago, 566 players. 24-hour peak of 463 players. And only 290 players are playing this game right now. This game tanked. This game flopped. Right? The critics do not like this game, well, the critics that I trust. Whereas the mainstream legacy, news, media, mainstream video game, whatever, yeah, they love this game. 9 out of 10 here, 10 out of 10 there, 8 out of 10 from IGN. We get it, right? We get it. That's how the story is gonna go. But at the end of the day, the players not gonna come out. The modern audience, all 500 of them came out, but unfortunately, not many more after that. And that's it. There is nothing new I'm going to contribute. Everyone knew that this was going to happen. So why should I spend this entirety of this video explaining the failure of this game when we all knew from the moment this game was announced that it was going to fail? We all knew this. No one is surprised by this. So again, like I said, this is not going to be a review of this game. No. What I want to do in this video is actually use South of Midnight and the failure of South of Midnight as sort of a jumping off point, a conversation starter to highlight the end of Sweet Baby Inc. You see, with the death of South of Midnight, so also dies the legend of Sweet Baby Inc. I think after this game, we can all rest assured that I think the time of Sweet Baby Inc. and walky-walkness in video games is pretty much done. I think we can all agree on that. I don't think anyone is really looking forward to partnering with Sweet Baby Inc. If I'm not mistaken, Sony just dropped them. So I think it's done. And I think the failure, the abysmal performance of South of Midnight pretty much cements that fact. So there's no point in me, rubbing it in. It's pretty obvious. You can go watch other videos on the internet, on the YouTube streets. People are talking about it. And I'm also not going to be reviewing South of Midnight. Why would I do that to myself? Why would I buy and play this game? Why would I even play this game? Lose all those minutes of my life. From what I understand, this game is a mediocre at best game. Of course, you have the IGNs giving it an 8 out of 10, an 8 out of 10. Steam gave it a 9 out of 10. We all know the deal when it comes to these things. We all know the deal. But at the end of the day, I'm not interested, and neither should you. So what am I going to talk about? I'm not reviewing the game, but what I am going to do is just say, just as this game dies, we should then now talk about the death of Sweet Baby Inc. and also highlight the highlights of some of the things, the misdeeds that this company went up to and was up to over the last few years. I mean, come on. Listen, whether you like Belair or don't like Belair, and I'm pretty sure most of you, if you're watching this video, don't like Belair. And Belair, by the way, is the woman, myth, and legend behind Sweet Baby Inc. Right? Whether you don't like her or like her, you have to respect the fact that for years, this woman went from one game development company to the next, making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. Right? Another highlight comes to mind as I say that. Remember when they tried to strong arm, allegedly, the company behind Black Myth Wukong into paying them certain fees? I think it was it $10 million or something like $6 million? You know, they told them, pay us this money or else you get bad coverage for your game. Remember that? Remember that whole... Anyway, listen, this is again another highlight, right? But the fact that she was able to do that, go from one company to the next, convincing these corporate entities that their player base of predominantly male video game players, right, would be more interested in playing a game with a protagonist that looked like this woman right here, instead of playing a game with a protagonist that looked like this woman on the right. The fact that she was able to do that for years and make a killing. Belair and Sweet Baby Inc. have made more money from the games industry than I will probably for my whole life from the game industry. I'm probably going to make much more money, but I'm just making a point. The point is, the fact that she was able to pull that off is an accomplishment. And I guess that's what this video is about. I'm going through the greatest hits of Sweet Baby Inc., the hits that come to my mind. I'm pretty sure I'm going to miss a few, but that's the whole idea of this video. Because like I said, you know, with the death of South of Midnight, with these 566 members of the modern audience showing up, right, which it pretty much means the end of Sweet Baby Inc., which pretty much means the end of the Walk It Walk, which is the end of an era. Whether you like the era or not is, you know, that's not the point. The point is, it's the end of an era, and we must commemorate the legendary acts of the genius of Belair and Sweet Baby Inc. Because what they were able to do to the gaming industry, man. Like, I mean, listen, I know, I get it. Fellas, ladies, my escapees, I understand. A lot of you, if not all of you, don't like this woman and her company. I completely understand. I really do. But you cannot take away from the hustle, the grind, the genius of it all. Because listen, anyone can walk into a company and say, pay me to consult and I will give you more sales and more money and more bang for your buck. Anyone can do that. But it takes a special kind of genius, right? This person right here, you know, this one right here. Oh man. Right, Belair, aging gracefully. But you know what? This is not how I would like to remember Belair. No. I would like to remember Belair like this. This is how I prefer to remember Belair. In her younger days, in her youthful days, in her prime. Let's get another picture. Let's see. How about this one right here? Oh yes. All right. Yeah, this is much better. Let's see. All right. Opening a new tab. There we go. Right. This is how I'd like to remember you, Kimmy. Oh, Kimmy. Anyway, listen. I am the Zaddy of all things entertainment. Allow me to enjoy the things that I can. Now, the fact that this woman was able to walk in to these companies, right? Like I said, anyone can walk into a company and say, if you pay me to consult, I will make you more money. Anyone can make that offer and anyone can get paid to do that. But it takes a special kind of genius to walk into a company and say, listen, if you pay me, I will encourage you to go in this direction with your characters, right? I will encourage you to make these kinds of characters. And these kinds of characters will put you on the right side of history and lose you lots of money. Instead of making these characters here that would probably draw in more players to your games and make you more money. No, she was able to tell them, make these kinds of characters and these kinds of games with this walk-in-walk outlook. And then you will lose money when you do this. And guess what? These gaming companies, these toppity top execs at the gaming companies, they agreed and they paid her. So fundamentally speaking, they paid her to tell them how to lose money. And she went from one company to the next, building a portfolio of losing gaming companies' money. And each time she walked in through the door with her portfolio of the previous companies she had lost money, guess what the new company did? They paid her to lose their money. I mean, guys, come on. You have to respect. At least, at the very least, you have to respect. That is an accomplishment. That is an accomplishment. I don't know anyone in my life who's capable of doing that. So I have to respect that. Yes, of course, it has culminated in this. I mean, this is what she does. This is, her expertise, making things that fail. Right? But it's an accomplishment that even though these products she was involved with were failing, she was making a killing while making them. You have to respect that. I made a joke a long time ago that it was likely that Sweet Baby Inc. probably got paid more in consulting fees than Tales of Kinzera Zhao made from sales. Oh, by the way, yes, let's take a look at Tales of Kinzera. Man, the highlights. Do you guys remember Tales of Kinzera? Zhao, whatever. Of Kinzera. I have to type this out with one hand, so please be patient. Zhao. Let's see, did I spell it right? So anyway, where was I? Okay, I was saying that the poor guy, Abubakar Salim, right? He was Bayek in Assassin's Creed Shadows, and he also was the android in Raised by Wolves, the father android, right? So he's an actor. He's doing pretty well for himself. I think he was also in House of the Dragon, or he is in House of the Dragon whenever the third season comes out. But anyway, alas, right? Abubakar Salim, right? He makes this game to honor his father, and then he makes the great mistake of bringing in Sweet Baby Inc. to consult on his game. I don't know why he did that. Abubakar Salim is from Kenya, I believe. First generation Kenyan. So, first generation Kenyan in England. Let me say it that way, right? So, he brings her in, and obviously people find out, and the game tanks, right? All-time peak player count of 287 players. These are some of the highlights, guys. These are some of the highlights of Sweet Baby Inc. I'm just going through the highlights. This is not a, scripted video. We're just kind of having fun. I'm just remembering the highlights as they come to me. So these are some of the deeds that Sweet Baby Inc. got up to in the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I mean, it's an accomplishment. The fact that all these games, look at this, 287 players, 566 players, and then of course Dustborn, the legendary Dustborn, 83 players. Listen, I'm looking at 3 games that Sweet Baby Inc. was involved in, right? Or involved with on Steam. 3 games. And all 3 games, if you count their player count, it will not get to 1,000 peak players. After a year, 12 months, 2 days, 8 months. You got 83, you've got 566, you've got 287. All-time peak player counts for 3 games, less than 1,000 players. Guys, that is an accomplishment. That is an accomplishment. She did stuff. Sweet Baby Inc. actually did stuff. Now, it might not be stuff in the positive direction, but here's the thing. The gaming industry wanted these people through the door. The gaming industry opened the doors and welcomed these people. So what are we supposed to say? And of course, yes, the final note, the final exclamation mark, the full stop to all the Sweet Baby adventures is, South of Midnight with its 566 all-time peak player count. Right? That is the end of the line. This is the culmination of all their deeds. But I must say, listen, they managed to pull something off. Whether you like it or not is another story. Of course, I didn't like it, you didn't like it, probably a lot of people didn't like it, but they definitely did something. And I'm just throwing respect where respect is not due. Right? That's all I'm doing. Sweet Baby Inc., the end of an era. That's all this is. This is me just remembering the highlights. Remember when they started Gamergate 2.0, when their employee, what was his name again? I believe it was Chris Kindred. I believe so. This is him. Oh yes, Chris Kindred. Oh, pause. Right? Remember this guy? How he went after Cabrutus Rambo, and then he tried to have Cabrutus and his Steam account closed and all that. Tried to start a cancellation campaign, and then that had the Streisand effect of getting people to recognize Cabrutus Rambo's Steam curator list that was putting in the Sweet Baby Inc. games from their own website. And then they had to remove that, and then they started Gamergate 2.0, and then a year later and some change, voila, we have now arrived at South of Midnight after the failure of Dustborn, 83 all-time peak player count. Right, we have now arrived here at South of Midnight, and voila, the end has finally come. Yes, good riddance, but listen, you have to admit these people did something. These people left a legacy. Yes, a legacy of death, destruction, failure, pain, and suffering. But a legacy nonetheless. Because the gaming industry, it welcomed these people. It opened the doors towards these people. And I want you to understand something. Think of it this way. Everyone, the top echelons of the gaming industry, and I'm not just saying the people who make the games, the game publishers, but also the media. Right? Your legacy gaming news publications, your IGNs, PC Gamers, Game Informer, whatever. I think one of them might be closed now, right? But these companies, after all the deeds of Sweet Baby Inc. and the deeds of Belair and Chris Kindred and all the stuff they've done, right? After convincing gaming publishers, right? That people were more interested in looking at the woman on the left instead of the woman on the right. After all those deeds, none of these publications, the IGNs, the this and that. I mean, look at South of Midnight, right? 8 out of 10 from IGN. I think that's a better rating than Stellar Blade, if I'm not mistaken. But after all those deeds, none of these companies have printed a single sentence disparaging Belair and or Sweet Baby Inc. None of them. That's just how much power this woman has in the gaming industry. Another highlight of her career. Another highlight of the deeds of Sweet Baby Inc. Think about that. If you actually ever thought of that. The fact that after everything I just highlighted in this video, after the hundreds, if not thousands of videos that were made about this company on the internet, game after game, tanking, studio after studio, closing, which will soon be the fate, I believe, of Compulsion Games after this little release of South of Midnight. But anyway, listen. After all the things they have done, not a single one of those publications has come out to say, hey, Belair and friends are probably taking things a bit too far and they should be stopped. None of them have said anything disparaging, nothing. Even in a politically correct way, none of them have said anything negative about Sweet Baby Inc. Just to show you the amount of power this woman right here has amassed within a period of what, 5 years, 10 years? Listen, I even ended up sleuthing. I went to a LinkedIn, I checked, I was like, who is this woman? At a certain point, I thought she was part of the national security apparatus. I thought she was an NSA agent. I thought she was part of Canadian Secret Service. I thought she was part of the CIA. I'm not joking. Because I was so shocked at how much power she has. These people dare not speak ill of the name of Belair and Sweet Baby Inc. They don't even dare to do that. So she has definitely done something. And the reason why I'm focusing on her, instead of also highlighting, which I'm also doing now, David Bedard, who is the co-founder of Sweet Baby Inc. But the reason why I'm talking about Kim Belair, and to be honest, these two people belong in the same conversation together. But the truth is, here's the thing. I don't for a second think that this David Bedard here, let me open them in a new tab. Come on, open the image in a new tab. Let's see. All right, there we go. I don't think that this guy who presents as a white male straight, I don't know if he's straight. I don't know. These people are complicated. They are complicated, right? But I don't think that if this guy walked into these companies, any of these companies, and offered what Kim Belair offered, right? Can you imagine? Like, let me give you a picture of David Bedard. Let's get to a picture of David Bedard. Let's see. Right, let's see. David Bedard. There you are, David, all alone. No Kimmy to protect you. No Kim Belair to hide behind. Your time in the sun has come, Mr. Bedard. Right? I don't think that if this guy, David Bedard, co-founder of Sweet Baby Inc., he should get more credit. People don't talk about him as much as they should. But anyway, alas, right? I don't think that if this guy walked into a game development company, right? This guy with his little glasses and said, hey guys, I think you should focus more on making a game with women that look like this, black women that look like this, instead of black women that look like this. I don't think that if this guy made that offer, I don't think that they were going to listen to him. I don't think that anyone in that room, especially since you're talking about the gaming industry, the people at the top of that industry are probably just going to be a bunch of men. I don't think that a room full of men was going to listen to this man right here, this man, right? Tell them that, hey, make your game and turn the leading female protagonist into someone who looks like this instead of someone who looks like this. I think a lot of them are going to look at him like he had 3 heads and chase him out of the room. I don't think that Sweet Baby Inc. would succeed if this man was working alone. So in a way, it is right to make Kim Belair the face of everything, right here. Because I believe that she had to walk in through the door. And listen, look at her, man. I mean, listen, yes, I can see that she has aged. And she's aging gracefully. She is aging, she's aging gracefully. I mean, let me see this picture. I mean, she's aging gracefully. I mean, yeah, she's older now. And I don't want to remember Kim Belair like this, man. I want to remember her looking like this. This is Kim Belair, right? I mean, if she walked into a room with a bunch of those simpish, top of the pyramid game developers, of course they're going to listen to anything she says. Anything and everything. Oh man, Kim Belair, we missed each other, man. You missed the zaddy of all things entertainment. We could have had a good time, you and I, Kimmy. We could have had a good time. Woo! Anyway, like I said, the greatest hits of Sweet Baby Inc., man. And that's what South of Midnight is to me. That's what it is. It's a game that marks the end of an era, right? This game. That's it. The end of an era. We had fun with Sweet Baby Inc., man. This was a great company. Okay, depending on your version of what great means. But it definitely did something. These people did something. Whether you like it or not, these people did something. And that's, I guess, the point of this video. Just to make a video, commemorating the achievements of Sweet Baby Inc. All the death, the destruction, mayhem, and pain they caused all the gamers. And the fact that the gaming industry paid them to do that. It paid them to cause all the death and destruction they caused. It's an achievement. Whether you like them or not, of course you probably don't like them, neither do I. But the point is, it's an achievement. So well done. And with the death of South of Midnight, so dies Sweet Baby Inc. I would be surprised. Maybe they still have a few more games down the pipeline. You guys could let me know. But I don't think that any company is going to be working with Sweet Baby Inc. as of now on, right? I think it's done. I think the money gravy train is done. I think from now on, it's back to the shadows with them. And, Korea is taking over. China is taking over. Japan is taking over. Those are the games that people are getting more invested in and interested in. The East has come after the West. And the West did it to themselves because they couldn't help but listen. They couldn't help but listen to the enticing voice of Sweet Baby Inc. and Kimberly. I prefer to remember Kimberly this way, guys. I really do. So, South of Midnight, if there is anything that is to be said about you and your 566 all-time peak player count, the only thing that is to be said is thank you. You have marked the end of an era. You have finally put the final nail in the coffin of Sweet Baby Inc. So yeah, thank you, South of Midnight. I hope people who play this game enjoy it on my behalf, because I'm not gonna play it and I'm sure as I'm not gonna buy it. So there we go. What an achievement. What a time it was to be alive. Kimberly, David, Bedard, and friends, guys. Sweet Baby Inc. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for all the death and destruction you caused the video game industry. And hopefully we will not be seeing you anytime soon. Now, fellas, ladies, my escapees, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Catch me on my locals and reach out to me on my Instagram for a more direct way to sponsor the channel and the content. I'll see you on the next one.